What up, world? I was just watching TikTok. It's raining. As I don't know, I tell some people I'm the rain man. God uses the rain and the weather and stuff. He gets a hold of me. He talks to me, and it's more. I don't know. Sometimes it just rains because we need rain. Rain's a blessing, just like a curse. There's both sides of it. But sometimes it comes in as a warning. I can feel it in my stomach, my solar plex. I can feel it like something's not right. God's trying to get a hold of me, or something like that. And I was just watching TikTok, and there's a battle going on about atheist. It says I'm an atheist, and he's a man trying to. You can tell he's a very educated man, very very smart man, and he's got the ponytail, the glasses, probably weighs 125 pounds, fucking. You can tell he's read every book and he can read 90 miles an hour, very intelligent. And, I was, I'm going to say I was a different kind of smart person. As a bookman, a person, an educated guy, not at all. I can rebuild an engine in my sleep. I can do a lot of things, But, as if I was to go up against a man like him, he'd think he was 10 times smarter than me. Me, I look at him like you're a fucking idiot. But you know, that's just the way we are. That's everybody's different. But I feel sorry for like a guy like him. I noticed his debate was is God real? And he's got a bunch of Christians going on there. This is why I would never consider myself a Christian because do I believe Jesus was real? Hell yeah. Do I believe Jesus was the Son of God? Yeah. I believe he was a man sent from God, a spiritual man. A man with knowing, a man, a highly spiritual guy. I'm a very spiritual man. I like certain people in this world. I noticed miracles are like an everyday thing to them. Like me, I experience miracles on the day. On the day I've experienced huge miracles. But I was actually an atheist at one time for years, till I was 30-something years old. I'm gonna say it. I feel bad for people that go through life doing so well sometimes, because I was one of those people. I was very, very successful. Didn't do anything. Then I hurt myself. Hurt myself. Life got bad. My physical self got bad. My mental self got bad. I got addicted to toxic things. Just felt sorry for myself. Just went down and down and down. Plus, I was getting older. I remember back when I was hitting my late 30s, my early 30s. I was like starting to think like life was very depressing to me. Just like not that I was a depressed guy. Just it was just I remember. Well, see, you got to remember, I was around my dad a lot too, and he was getting old. This guy was a bull, and watching. And I worked iron, and I literally worked from 15 years old on like jobs where real grown men worked, and I literally watched them get old and stuff. And to me, that was sad, watching guys get old and work their ass off and to just die in the end. And they had no religious belief, they were not spiritual. They were just. My dad was not a spiritual guy. My dad was a man of just another atheist in this world. My mom is a Catholic, and she's a strong Catholic. Very. She was born into it though. Where like I'm gonna say, like she grew up going to church, stuff like that, and same as my dad. My dad was a Catholic, where he was taught God is real, and they prayed before dinner. And then when I was born, they became like non-Catholics, just like the average person. So I never really got to experience church and stuff like that. It was God to me was just like the Easter Bunny, just like the Easter Bunny, and except for I didn't know about God as a young guy. I didn't know about it, I didn't know. I knew nothing about God. I didn't know nothing about Jesus Christ. I didn't know anything about any of that. I just I never picked on believers. See, I don't consider. See, that's the thing about atheists. They consider you as a believer, and to me, I know that we're knowers. People that know God are knowers. I didn't realize that like a priest would actually go to church and dedicate his whole life knowing God. See, that's the thing. It's to me, it seemed crazy, to live that life not knowing God. And to me, as of now, it would seem crazy to me. Just dedicating your whole life to a God that you do not know, that would seem insane. But see, I can honestly say that I know God. It's not a, I believe God is real. I like to use the word faith too because they throw that word around. Me, but it's nothing about faith. It's about me knowing God. I know God, and I notice a lot of these people that go up against a believer or a knower. They're very, 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 very intelligent. Of course, the devil is going to pick. The devil's not going to, and I don't believe the devil, all right? I'm just using that to put it into terms where we can all understand what I'm talking about, Some call it the jinn, depends on what religious background you come from. We're just going to say devil because everybody understands that one. I don't really believe the devil, but I do. I believe there's dark and light forces in this world. See the rain stopping? See the rain? This is a miracle right here. Look at it. It's been raining all morning. And now that I'm actually getting this video down, look at it. It's stopping raining right now before your eyes. You can see the sun coming out. This is the kind of stuff that I live right here. The rain's disappearing. As like I say, God uses the weather to talk to me. I'm the rain man. You can hear it letting up. Sun's going to start coming out. Amen, God. Thank you. Bring it on. This is what we need. I believe that Jesus was a man like me. God sent him here to. It's not about a matter of it's a matter of. I think Jesus was sent here to teach us how to reach out to God. He was teaching us how to build a relationship with God if we want it. I've learned that you're never going to convince a man that God is real. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of God's time trying to convince a man that God's real. It ain't going to happen. And that's the sad part is I noticed a lot of these atheists, like I said, the devil isn't going to pick the dumb idiot to represent. He finds the smartest guy that's got his nose in a book that can talk well and like these atheists that go up against a Christian or whatever, they usually bash him. I'm like, oh man, this guy's getting smoked. The Christian stuttering. Because for one, he usually has one background. He's either a Christian or maybe a Jew or a Jehovah or a this or a that. I noticed God rounded me into every one of them. When I first found out God was real, by the way, how I found out God was real, I didn't believe in God. But I've experienced a lot of supernatural, out of this world, science cannot explain kind of things ever since I was a little kid. And like I said, I got hurt real bad. I got into drugs, really, really bad drugs. And I was around really bad people. I've seen a lot of really bad things, and I lived a lot of really bad things. I've seen a lot of horrible things. I lived a horrible life. And all of a sudden, I started watching YouTube about cryptids. I got into cryptids. Bigfoot, stuff like that. And a lot of these real good, real famous cryptid people are Christians. And for some reason, I kept hearing God. God, 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 God. These guys kept bringing up God. I'm a non-believer. I didn't believe. I believed in evolution and anything. Anything. I believed in science. And where do these cryptids that I've seen, I've experienced, I've found fit into science? They don't. All right. Bigfoot's not a freaking ape that we never found, and aliens are real. I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of weird things. I've proven a lot of weird things. I've literally had visions and stuff like that. Just like say, like I proved this to the guys I worked with, right? They might not believe in any of this either. They're like I was at one time. That's why sometimes when they laugh at me, I don't get mad. They don't. It doesn't piss me off. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for like a guy that sits there and knocks like they gang up at me at work. I do construction. I'm a non-believer. And I think that's why God chose me to be who I am, is just because I have enough strength and balls to go up against the toughest guy out there. And nobody's going to change me and shut my mouth. They're not going to cap my beliefs. It's not going to happen. I believe what I believe. I know what I know, and that's it. I'm not going to change what I feel just to fit in. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. Whatever. I've been crazy before I believed in God. I've been called crazy my whole entire life. I've always been nuts. I've been nuts since Eminem. Since Eminem. Since it was cool to be nuts. But yeah, but the sad part is I see these atheists or whatever, these very intelligent men. My brother's one, actually. And they're almost too smart for their own good. And I'm going to tell you, when I found out God was real, it blew my mind. It was like being a kid that grew old and you find out, that the Easter Bunny and Santa and all of them are not real. All right. And then to wake up one day and all of a sudden say tomorrow you wake up and Santa Claus is coming down your chimney. It's going to blow your mind. It's there. It's real. It's there. It's happening. You saw it. Santa Claus magically came down your chimney and put presents under your tree. And you're 29 years old. It doesn't make sense, but it happened. That's what happened to me. I literally went from literally I could not walk. It took me 2 hours to put my shoes on in the morning. I'd have to wake up, take a handful of pills, drink some water, wait for them to finally kick in, and then I could start putting on my shoes. I used to have to wake up 2 hours early just to start taking drugs so I can get my ass out of bed. And I was ready to blow my brains out. And for some reason, now I know why. So it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me is I got hurt and got addicted to drugs. Because I reached out to God as a last chance. Did not expect it to happen whatsoever. But it was just I had no. There was what would it hurt? What would it hurt? And I prayed for the first time, and it was like God came into my life full bore. It was crazy. When you're in the presence of God, it's undeniable. It's undeniable. I could just feel my whole body change, like I got hit with a lightning or something. It was like that. It was a. And anyway, the next morning, I didn't sleep all night. And the next morning, I felt just a knowing. I call it my intuition now. It's when God speaks to you or whatever. It's your intuition. It's just like a thought that goes to your head and it's real. And even though it's not your thought, it's your thought, But it was basically get up, get dressed. And I did. And I got up and got dressed. And then it was basically get in your car. I got in my car. And I went to a Mount Skinner Mountain. And I hiked up the mountain. And meanwhile, I didn't take any drugs. And I was on drugs that were like I said, I couldn't couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get my shoes on before I took these drugs. It was just from having a broken back and being addicted to these drugs for so long. And no drugs, no pain. I got up and I hiked this freaking mountain. And I remember I got up there and I cried. And I don't think I've ever cried before in my life. And yeah, it was weird. It was spiritual. I cried my eyes out, bawled my eyes out. And it was weird because it was, like I said, I never cried. I was always a tough son of a bitch, just a mean, nasty man. And all of a sudden I went from a guy, an atheist with a broken back, addicted to drugs, was ready to blow my brains out, to up on a mountain, and the feeling was unbelievable. It was the best feeling I ever felt in my life. It was just like a feeling of happiness, and just, it was awesome. I'd do anything to feel that feeling again. I don't know, I think that was my one and only time in this life. Well, you know, as I preach about God, as I talk about God, I feel this presence of God come into me. He's always with me, but that morning it was like he went full throttle. You know, it was just like he all or nothing. Like it was like 100. It was like 100 angels came in and picked me up with a forklift and dusted me off. And like I said, I don't think I've ever cried. I don't think I had emotions before then, to be honest. Life was just life, and it was. I do remember before then, life was just like so. Like I said, I was starting to get older, and it was like almost depressing. You know, like what, you just come to this world, you live, and then you die, and like, you know, you live, and then you finally get whatever you want, and then you finally like work to have this great life, and then you die. Yay. And it ain't like that. Your soul lives on. Since then, I've realized that my soul's been here many times. And, God puts certain knowings in my head. And, but, anyway, to the atheists like that, like these smart guys, like I was a smart guy where, you know, a preacher or somebody like that could have, I worked with a preacher for years. Great man. Me and him were connecting iron together. And, I used to say horrible things about God, you know, like, you and your fucking God and this and that. And I've literally been up in a man lift 80 feet up in the air working on a building or whatever. And the guy literally had to jump out of the man lift because he was afraid that we were going to get struck by lightning. Because I was just saying like such bad things about God. And that morning, though, when I found out when I finally asked, this is where it is. I asked God. This God that I did not know, didn't believe was real, whatever. I gave him like a chance because I had nothing to lose. I was ready to fucking blow my head off. And this guy that all I've ever done was talk shit about and laughed and made fun of his followers, his workers, came into my life and saved me. And that feeling was so fucking bad. It was like, picture a person that you picked on and treated like shit every fucking day. And then you broke down on the side of the road and nobody would come and get you. All your friends were too busy drinking or something like that. And the one guy that you treated like shit, that you made life, you know, hell, came out there and got you 100 miles away from home. It was like that. It was, and that fucking hurt. That hurt. That hurt. You know, this God came and saved me, and it still hurts to this day. Just knowing that, I often, why me? Why does God, I still have that same feeling, why God? Why do you, just like I was, you know, just like this atheist guy I was just watching on TikTok. Why did you choose to come into my life, God, and not his? Or something like that, you know? Like, I was a pretty bad person, you know? And just, he chose to come into my life instead of that atheist guy that's actually probably a great guy. He's a nice guy. Why? I don't know. Why am I still here? I've done so many drugs and put toxins in my body, and I could care less if I lived or died 90% of my life, and yet he takes this girl down the road that's never done anything to anybody. You know, why does he do that? Why does he let that happen? We don't know. I look at it now as maybe that person's in a better place. Maybe she came for that one mission that she did. Because I look at it as when we die, and that's another thing. Now I don't look at it as we die and it's the end. I look at death as now we're just going into another chapter. Like my dad died, just another chapter. My friend Krista died a couple months ago, just another chapter. My friend Krista was kind of sad. She died of cancer. She had cancer in her trach by it was caused by I forget what it was called. It's forgive me, I can't think of what it was. It was the I hate that. But anyway, she had a trach. You know, one of them trachs where you know, and a hole in her throat. And the other day, and she's still with me. I can feel her spirit come into my life. It's sad. Like the other day, I got I'll get like, see, I work for God in the supernatural world, and I've had her come into my life the other day and have me go on YouTube on a social media and watch and have me pray for a lady. All I see her, and she had a trach. This lady was a teacher, didn't smoke in years. Quit, you know, probably smoked in her 20s and then quit smoking. And smart lady, and she just so happened to get cancer in her voice box. And the people on these comments were ruthless to her. Ruthless to her. And this lady didn't back down. She just stayed there on TikTok. She believed that she was allowed to be there just like everybody else. And it fucking broke me. It was disgusting. It was disgusting, the comments coming out of these people. Like smoking too many vapes and this and that. And it was horrible what they were saying to this lady. And she stood her ground and just kept there talking. And if anything, this lady's a saint because she was going on there and talking about how dangerous cancer is, and you know, and I truly believe that I was there to pray for her. And I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people, when I see bad things like that, God's letting me know that they're getting their karma. I can truly say that I've seen that happen many times. When I see the bad and the wicked, usually they get their karma right after that. I don't know why. I pray for the wicked. I pray for the wicked more than I do the good, to be honest. Because I know. Because I've seen that happen so many times. Because, yeah, my friend Krista died with a trach in her throat. Never smoked. So if she was on TikTok talking like that with her thing in her throat and that, and if I seen somebody comment about, oh, it serves you right for smoking too much, and I would have fucking wanted to, I would have fucking jumped through that fucking screen and I would have strangled that motherfucker. To be honest, she never smoked nothing. She died of that cancer right there. So, and I feel that her spirit brought me to that video. And, you know, she was my best friend, you know. But yeah, and, I truly felt that there was like, I get, like I said, I get, my intuition tells me to go to certain places. Just like I was watching this atheist video, though. But what sucks about these atheists like that, too, is the devil uses these guys that are just so smart. And I feel bad for him, because you can tell this guy has done his research. Because he wants to believe so bad, and he just can't find it in himself to believe. You know, it's just he can't find the evidence. And the fucking thing, the sad thing is, you're looking for evidence into a supernatural world. In this world, that's like the 3D trying to find. That's like my cheap flip phone trying to outsmart a fucking the newest Apple phone you can buy. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's trying to. That's like my flip trying to find the research on my freaking old flip phone from 2002 from Sprint PCS to and the research is only on the Apple, or it's like It's like the computer and knowledge is only what has been installed into the internet, you know? So that's why I make like these videos right here, because, you know, if I don't let my story out, nobody will know, you know? I'd love for this atheist man to follow me around for a month. I'll tell you what. He'd, he might not be a believer, but I would make him think. I might not be able to convince him, because I notice you'll never convince anybody. The more my work is to actually just be myself, and I actually lead more people into God that way by just being me than ever trying to convince somebody. Going up against a man like him, trying to convince a God. If somebody doesn't want to believe in God, they're not gonna believe. It's just like works like that, you know. God is there, but if you want to believe, if you want, but I was watching him roast these guys. He was roasting them. These guys are like, faith and this and that. And I'm like, oh, you fucking guys, man, you guys are getting sloshed, smashed. And the truth of it is, if you want to know God, reach out to him. I guarantee you, it might not happen tonight. It might not happen tomorrow. But if you keep reaching out to God, he will come into your life. And sometimes he comes in with a bang. Sometimes he comes in like a feather in the wind. I notice he comes in like a feather in the wind. And I do know, and a lot of people ask me, how do I know? Well, I don't think God wants to know me or something like that. Let me tell you, if you're watching this video right now, you're one in a zillion, trillion people in this world, and God wants you to know him. I'm going to tell you that right now. Anybody that's in my life, God is tapping on your shoulder. I've noticed that. If you're in my life, you are something very special to God. So if you're watching this video, you're very special to God. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I noticed that, and I truly believe that. I mean, it sounds blasphemy saying it, but I don't care. That's between me and God. And I truly believe that if you watch this video, guess what? You're something very, very, very special to God. He wants you in. He wants your life in his. And so reach out to him. But yeah, you can't convince a person to you're not going to convince a non-believer to believe in God. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't, if I didn't know God like I know God, I wouldn't believe in God. It just so happens that I know God now. You know, I mean, the fruits are there. You know, aren't these flowers beautiful? But yeah, just and I believe I believe that that's why God actually took me out of church and stuff, because I don't think there was enough. There isn't enough in the Bible for me to totally convince anybody. You know, I couldn't, you know, and I noticed it took all spiritualities to really, once I got away from the Christianity side of it, I noticed my spirituality is like peaked, like went into super mode. Like super mode. Like I'm not even like a human anymore. Sometimes I think, you know, but you know, because I'm into like the cards. I'll listen to any religion out there with an open mind, and I think everybody else should too. To be honest, I sometimes think God set me here to teach that lesson. I don't think God is happy with Christianity and or any of these religions. I believe they're all true. I believe they're all real. But I believe they all have been tampered with by man. I believe that's my belief too. Don't take my word for it. Always go how you feel. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't hurt to. It never hurts to listen to Jesus' word. I'll tell you that. Because like I believe Jesus was a man like me, you know. But also more more. You know, he was the son of God. He was who he says he was. Like a lot of people think I'm nuts, you know, the way I talk and stuff. But I don't lie. I'm just telling the truth, you know. If I tell you about the miracles I've seen and stuff I've done or stuff that God's done in my life, I wouldn't lie. I would never lie about that kind of stuff. It's all the truth. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going, but yeah, so if you're, just don't waste your time trying to convince an atheist to follow God. All you can really do is lead a person to God. That's what I'm trying to say. All you can really do is lead a person to God. Because they're going to, somebody that doesn't have God inside of them, they're going to notice something that's inside you that they don't have, you know? And they're going to want it, you know? They might hate it, but they're going to want it. Down deep inside, they're going to want what you have, whether they say it or not, you know? And you know if you know what you got. Anyhow, sorry for rambling on. Just, I don't know, God, like I said, God kind of like dragged me out of the house to make this video. And I'm doing the best I can. Sorry, God, for me sounding like a moron, but I'm trying. Anyhow, see you guys.